If you want to live sandwiched between two of San Francisco's greatest parks and among one of the most diverse restaurant scenes in the city without breaking the bank, then the Inner Richmond is probably a great option for you. And in this video, I'm going to give you a deep dive on the Inner Richmond neighborhood, including how much it costs to live there and what it's like. This is Austin Clark, your lawyer turned real estate agent and real estate developer in San Francisco. I have lived in multiple neighborhoods throughout the city, giving me in-depth, firsthand knowledge of what it's like to both live and work in San Francisco. If you're thinking about relocating or want more information about the market, definitely reach out to me. My contact information is in the description below. I will personally answer every call, every email, every text, and I'd be more than happy to help you. And if you like videos just like this, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click the bell so you're alerted every single time I post a video. All right, so this video is all about the Inner Richmond neighborhood. It is one of the most overlooked neighborhoods by tourists in San Francisco because there's not a lot of attractions or things to do in the Inner Richmond itself, but it is really close to some great parks, great bars, great restaurants, and great shopping. It's also surrounded by some of the most expensive neighborhoods in San Francisco. It's really close to Pacific Heights, Presidio Heights, Lake Street, and Seacliff, but it's actually a lot less expensive than any of those, making it a great option for people looking to move to the city without totally breaking the bank. The Inner Richmond is on the western side of San Francisco, sandwiched between Presidio National Park to the north, Golden Gate Park to the south, Laurel Village and Jordan Park to the east, and Central Richmond and Lake Street districts to the west. The area is largely flat, relatively clean compared to a lot of other neighborhoods in San Francisco, which makes it, fairly walkable, and it's a really great place for families, especially with children and pets. It's a pretty popular spot for students. It's really close to the University of San Francisco. There's also a good mix of single-family homes and multi-unit buildings in the area. There tends to be more square footage in a lot of these properties than other parts of SF, and a lot of them have big backyards, which is not something you get everywhere in the city. This makes homes in the area a little bit more expensive than average, but it's definitely cheaper than a lot of nearby areas, which are among the most expensive areas in the entire city. Housing infrastructure is also older. There's a lot of historic Edwardians and other homes in the area. There's also a lot of older multifamily unit buildings in the area. The Inner Richmond is sort of in a state of renewal. There are many projects aimed at revitalizing housing, restructuring streets to better accommodate traffic. There's tree planting going on to spruce up the neighborhood. The main difference between, say, the Inner Richmond and Outer Richmond, for example, is that the Inner Richmond is more active, it's less foggy, and easier to get from the city center. There are a few buses that run in the Inner Richmond to other parts of town. It's about a 10-minute drive to downtown San Francisco, so it's a pretty convenient place to live if you have to work downtown. And if you have to commute to Marin, for example, it's a very fast drive, just a few minutes to the Golden Gate Bridge. Since the USF and UCSF campuses are in the Inner Richmond, there are actually a lot of young people in the area. As a result of that, the area also has a large population of people who rent rather than own their residences there. The median overall income also tends to be lower because you do have a large student population. But the people who live there have pretty high median incomes because the homes there tend to be more expensive. When it comes to things to do, the Inner Richmond is actually a great area to live for outdoor activities. The area's southern border is Golden Gate Park, which is an enormous park. It's larger than New York Central Park. It's got museums, a flower conservatory, botanical gardens, tea gardens, Ferris wheel, multiple lakes, fields, golf course, disc golf course. It basically has everything. The northern border is the Presidio National Park. Presidio National Park is a huge natural hiking trail, great for biking, running, walking, incredible vantage points, views of the city, views of the bay, views of the Golden Gate Bridge. And as far as shopping goes, there's a lot of great options around the Inner Richmond as well. There's not really a ton in the Inner Richmond itself, but it's close to Fillmore Street in Pac Heights, Sacramento Street in Pac Heights and Presidio Heights. All those have a lot of good clothing and home goods stores. Green Apple Books is probably one of the more famous locations in the Inner Richmond. The one on 6th and Clement is the original bookstore. What really sets the Richmond apart from other areas in San Francisco is that it probably has one of the most diverse food scenes in the city, but it's mostly known for its Asian cuisine. My personal favorites are Mandalay and Burma Superstar, both of which are Burmese restaurants. Mandalay is on California Street, Burma Superstar is on Clement Street. Clement has really the most restaurants and markets, but there's a fair share on California Street as well. But California Street is a little bit more residential than Clement Street. The Inner Richmond also has a solid bar scene. Places host live music, trivia, pool tables, pretty laid back, not really like classy upscale cocktail bar type scenes, but not quite like super divey either. It's a nice mix. The average home in the Inner Richmond was about $2.5 million, which is more than the average single family home in the rest of San Francisco of a little over $2 million. Average condo in the area is about $1.45 million, and that's compared to about 1.4 for average in the rest of San Francisco. So it's, you know, pretty close in line with average, but a tad more expensive. Average rent in the area is, for a 2-bedroom, is about $4,500 a month, but it definitely gets more expensive with larger houses, and especially if the finish quality is newer. Well, that's the scoop on the Inner Richmond neighborhood. If you're looking for something that's pretty family friendly, that's not going to attract a ton of tourists, but is really close to a lot of great amenities and a lot of great shopping and restaurants and bars, Inner Richmond is a great option for you. If you're thinking about relocating and want more information about the area, definitely reach out to me. My contact information is in the description below. I will personally answer every call, every email, every text, and I'd be more than happy to help you. And if you like videos just like this, please subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to click the bell so you're alerted every single time I post a video.